This is a CFG industrial KRW232 wheeled gas-powered skid steer with a 999cc V-twin gas motor. I've played around with these Chinese pieces of equipment. I've owned a previous gas excavator. I have this gas excavator, and I thought this was intriguing, having rented a few of the stand-on mini skid steers, and this came at a decent price. I've been looking at these in the auctions, mostly on Proxybid and Ritchie Brothers. They've been selling for around $4,000 to $7,000. One recently that I just missed out on sold for $4,500, and with 14.25% sales tax plus the auction fees together, came out to about $5,300. I missed out on that one, and I was able to pick up this one on Facebook Marketplace from someone reselling it for $6,500, which I felt was a decent price. So just a little walk around. There's a few videos on these, but they're still not too common, which is kind of why they were intriguing to me. The biggest thing about these is the maintenance. A lot of these come with water sitting in the chain drive case, and so that was one of the biggest things, is draining the chain drive cases. That's the fill plug, that's the drain plug. This is the left side. The right side of the machine, about 4 gallons of water came out. This side, 5 or so gallons of mixed water and gear oil came out, kind of milky. A lot of these tend to have drive motor failures, and I think this is probably one of the issues. The chains probably get rusty, come off, or get locked up, and then the drive motors break. So I replaced about 2.5 gallons, 3 gallons on each side of 80W90 gear oil after draining it. Like all Chinese machines, you need to make sure that you grease. They all come not greased. I've never seen one come from the auctions with grease. Most of these were the nipple style appropriate Zerk fittings, but I had to switch these all, so I'm going through the process. I've switched almost all of them. I'm going to go through those and grease them. My grease gun stopped working. This is the gas tank. A lot of these you're not supposed to use ethanol containing gasoline. You can use just 87 octane, but I like to get it from QT. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. We have a good amount of QTs around, so you can get the ethanol free fuel. When you first get it, put a gallon of seafoam with ethanol free fuel. There's also, which is kind of nice on this, is a drain for the fuel tank. I drained this for a little bit just to make sure there was no water. I didn't get any water. This side's the hydraulic fluid. This is the most troublesome. There's been a lot of people on the internet who the suction screen falls, or I guess when this thing came off the container, some of them where the suction screen falls and breaks apart or falls down, and you get problems with the hydraulics. Luckily, I put my drained the hydraulic fluid. I put my little fiber optic camera in there, and the screen looked fine. I didn't see any metal debris. I am going to put a magnet on the side of the tank just to keep it away from the screen in case there's any metal shavings. A lot of times what gets in there is paint or metal shavings from their welds. There's not much quality control in the build of these. They just paint them all, and sometimes the paint chips fall down in there. This is the drain for the hydraulic fluid. This was really interesting, and I think one of the big flaws about how this machine's designed, because the dipstick, which is right here, when you pull the dipstick, when you first get it and it's driving fine, it'll just have, fluid right below the top mark for full. I drained about 3 gallons out, refilled with about 3 gallons into the top of the dipstick, and the machine wouldn't run, wouldn't move. Put up some more, and now it's way on, much higher up the dipstick, and now it runs. So I think this dipstick, and I've seen this a few places, is highly inaccurate. This is the cooling fan, hydraulic cooling fan. This comes off with this bolt and swings back. Hydraulic pump, hydraulic filter. I'll put part numbers. I replaced, right when I got it, I replaced this hydraulic filter with a name brand one which is one I could pick up from Advance, O'Reilly, or AutoZone. There's a couple cross-reference numbers I'll put in there. I got the CarQuest one because I was already at Advance. The oil filter is very difficult to get through, to take it off. You pull down, which is not intuitive because it was on there really tight, but it's a left thread or regular thread, so left loose, right tight. I got that one off and replaced it with a Mobil one, and I'll put that part number as well as the other ones I've seen that are cross-referenced. The oil fill is up here on top of there on the left side of the motor, and then the dipstick is painfully in a terrible spot. The best way to actually get to the dipstick is to have to take this nut off and swing back the cooling fan, which is just ridiculous to me. You should be able to check the dipstick way easier. That's that dipstick for the hydraulic fluid. And then draining the oil was very difficult. These motors, the drain plug sits on the very, very bottom against the plate where they're braced to the chassis, so the oil just drips out. There's 2 drain plugs. I drained both of them, but I don't think it's necessary to drain both. I think you just drain one. I think it's just a common belly pan to the motor. And it comes out just all on a flood on top of this plate, and it drips down. There's a plate you can take out to let it fall down, but a lot of people have been buying the 6AN fitting. It's a, I believe, 12 by 1.5 millimeter thread for the drain plug, and they basically have a hose and you can drain it, but I just did it once and without, and I'll look for the next oil change. I'll try to get that fitting. What else? Machine is not too bad, honestly. It's a little jumpy. Not jumpy as much as I thought it would be after hearing the reviews in terms of the controls, but just jumpy because of the suspension. You know, the short wheelbase, you're going over rocks and the hard tires, that makes it jumpy. I think the controls are actually relatively smooth from my experience with these Chinese machines. You have the boom up and down. You have the bucket curl in and out, and then you have front and back on the left wheels, front and back on the right wheels. You have your throttle, you have your kill switch, and then this is auxiliary functions, which I believe that nut has to come off. I haven't used that yet. It has lights. There's switches for the fan. Common issue is the fan is not connected. Mine is just simply not connected, so I'm gonna have to wire the fan in the back. The wire's just hanging. There's some lights. There's a horn, some sort of parking. I think this is the beacon, the light beacon. This might be like flicker lights. I haven't been able to use any of those. The only one light that works is the front lights here. This is a horn, and this is a backup noise, which is kind of funny that it's there. You have a fuel gauge, which actually is pretty accurate, and a temp gauge. I've been told that this is actually not engine oil temp, this is hydraulic oil temp. Hence that fan needing to be on, because there's a lot of overheating problems because the fan is disconnected in a lot of these machines. But so far so good. I think this was a pretty good value. You know, it used to be where you could get a Bobcat S70 for, you know, $4 to $9 grand, maybe in various condition, or a Bobcat 463 or 453. Those are the smaller size machines that can fit through like a 43-inch wide gate. And now those prices have just soared. I haven't found any Bobcat S70s, Bobcat 453, 463 for less than like $9 grand. There's a Kato Ilmer AS12, which is this size too with the Yanmar diesel. Those are like about $9 grand. So I think for the price, this kind of stands alone, which kind of made it a unique opportunity. This is the KRW232 by CFG Industrial, which is AGT. It's all the same. I think, you know, Chinese government-run company, government-owned company that makes all these things. There's the JK35, which is basically the exact same machine, but with the Kubota D1105. I hunted for those for many, many months. There's only been a handful that get sold, and they were sold many months ago, like early this year, and I haven't seen any pop up for sale in the auctions of recent. I had waited and waited, and finally just decided to get the gas one. I prefer the diesel. The gas version, the tracked version of this gas machine is the TK35R. The names kind of don't mean too much, but usually when it has an R on the end of it, it means R for Rado, which is the gas Rado engine. But I don't think that the engine in this one, it's the Duromax R9999. I don't know if that's that R is the same Rado that's in the excavators. That one has the Rado gas motor, and the one excavator had before had it as well. But yeah, I'll show some videos of this thing working. There's not too many out there, only probably 2 or 3 videos. Attachments, I'm going to take some more measurements. Most people are saying that these fit the Bobcat MT attachments for the quick attach, not universal mini skid or not universal skid steer. But then I've seen some where these universal skid steer or mini skid grapples have fit. I just happen to get this at the same auction, so if it doesn't fit, I'll sell it, but that'll be interesting. All right, thanks.